Hello, everybody. And the intro actually worked. I don't know if you saw Ask the Accountant on Monday, but yeah, me and Jan stood there like melons it felt like eternity as there I am scrambling for the intro button, but it's all worked as intended. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the MTD Watch, your real world guide to making tax digital, powered by Ask the Accountant Network. This show where we cut through the noise and dive into what MTD really matters for you and your practice. And today it's all about pricing. So we definitely have a lot to talk about there and to cut through the rubbish and talk about it. From pricing and preparation, look at that, it's like I knew I was going to talk about it, to tools that are helping firms get ahead. I'm your host, Aaron Patrick, aka the QuickBook Chat, and joining me today are the two sharpest minds in MTD strategy. We have hashtag Audit Amy, co-host of QuickBooks Lab podcasts and other Beans to Boss podcasts and all sorts of other places you've seen on the internet. Amy, how are you?
I'm good. I'm still in my audit closet a little bit. I am living on Red Bull. We should try and get sponsored by this. I'm a little bit out of touch with the world. But you know, hopefully this will get me back onto speed, get me in the zone to get prepared for April.
Nice. And we have hashtag MTD Queen, M.ICB, and MTD Specialist, and also a Luca nominee in the form of influencer. Suzannah, how have you been? And how have you? Are you walking around like waving like this at the moment?
No, I'm cringing because I don't like the whole influencer tag.
Well deserved.
No, it's really nice. Really excited. Really pleased to have been shortlisted. And also Ask the Accountant as well. You've got a shortlist for Bookkeepers Champion, which is really well deserved.
We, it's everybody. It's not my award. It's your award as well.
I mean, I'm going to take it because I don't have any awards. I don't even think they do audit awards, do they? They should, but I will take that. I'll be like snatching it. I've got one.
Yeah, exactly. It's not my award, it's your award.
There's no room behind you, Aaron. I've got loads of room. Loads.
We were actually joking about if, and there's a big if, right? But if we did pull this one off, we were looking at tiers, weren't we? Of what it is. Maybe we have a tier where you get to have the Luke Award for a month at your office.
Oh, yeah. Share it round.
It will be all over social media if I had it here.
There's definitely room for us let it go on tour, right? And if we get that
definitely
so. Cool. Where was that? In the series, we'll be unpacking the true cost of MTD readiness, exposing the common pitfalls, and grilling software vendors on what's. I'm missing grilling software vendors. You know, that's the one bit that I really enjoyed about this series. On what's working and even dive into what isn't. We're broadcasting live across LinkedIn, YouTube. We're now live on Instagram as I press the button. Oops. Hi, Instagram. How you doing? And this episode will be available on demand across all your major podcasting platforms. Be sure to follow and subscribe so you don't miss moments of this new series. And if you're watching live, drop your questions and curveballs in the chat, just like we have with Kirsty. Kirsty says, hello, really interested to hear about the nitty-gritty pricing. We're looking forward to getting involved into it as well, Kirsty, although we do have a lot of news to go through. So we'll make sure we cover it as best we can. Kirsty also says, congratulations to Suzannah for Lucan. Oh,
you can.
I like
you can.
Yeah, exactly. You can. Luca's shortlist for influence, and also
Kirsty's branch, the Cambridgeshire branch, is up as well. So well done, Kirsty. Fingers crossed this year.
Yeah. We'll all be rooting for her on the night. And Mahul says, good afternoon, Aaron, Suzannah, hashtag MTD Queen, and Amy, hashtag Audit Amy. Loving that. And congratulations, Suzannah, and Ask the Accountant. And congratulations to you too.
Yeah, he was up for a couple of awards as well.
Yeah, it's really good to see. Thanks, fifth time lucky, says Kirsty. And Claire Kendall says, and the Lincolnshire branch as well with emoji as well. Maybe we should do an Ask the Accountant watch series just on the Luca Awards, like who won who.
Yeah, you should.
Tea and the gossip, and there's definitely room for that, isn't it? Congratulations.
I'm going to have to come to that because I feel like I'm going to get the FOMO.
on the for the summit. Ask the Bookkeeper will be there. We're doing Ask the Bookkeeping stuff, and we'll be making sure we do a grid walk as well. No, thank you very much. Anytime. And congratulations to Kirsty. And we can't keep up with the things here.
Bring them on. Let's have a chat.
Fingers crossed for you. Excellent. Loving the love shown in the chat. Right. Okay. Let's go on to our news. Well, we sent one of our panelists over to on the ground to go and find out all the latest news of what happened in the world of free agent. I hear you've got some updates for us, and tell us all, Suzannah, how was the event and where was it, all that sort of stuff. Fill us in. We're all nosy around here. We'll perch up and we'll listen to what it is you've got to tell us. Go for it.
Yeah, so I went to the Free Agent Roadshow, MTD Roadshow. So it's all about MTD at Chelmsford yesterday morning. Really good event, really loads of really good information and stuff. And it was just really, really reassuring to find out that, you know, everything that we've been saying on the podcast is in line with what they are saying. And they had Will Farnell talking as well. And like, again, it was all in line with what we've been saying. So that was really nice. One thing I did want to say, which I've discovered, I think I mentioned the other week that Free Agent used to say that the landlord license for unincorporated landlords was only suitable for up to 5 properties. They're now saying there's no restriction on the number of properties. It works perfectly well now for more than that for unincorporated landlords. So just wanted to mention that so that it doesn't put anyone off if the client who that might be good for.
That's amazing news. Do we know? And I never brought this up with Stone, and I don't know if it's just a historical thing, but I remember a client of mine applying for the Metal bank account, and because at the time Metal weren't accepting rentals. Do we know if that's still a thing or not?
I know that I vaguely remember that as well, but I know that I've got a landlord on Free Agent and he has got a Metal bank account. So I'm pretty sure that now is fine.
Cool. I mean, they've got NatWest anyway, and they've got RBS. There's loads of options for them.
He's not a limited company, and it can't be a sole trader account because otherwise it wouldn't give me the landlord license. So he must have a landlord license.
I've got a landlord client that's got a Metal account this year, so it might just be in the past, maybe.
It definitely was in the past, yeah. And the other thing, they're working on lots of other things, like, for example, allowing you to have multiple Metal accounts. So, for example, if you're a sole trader with property income as well, if you want 2 separate accounts, that's not ready yet, but it is in the pipeline.
And I can imagine they'll have a nice slick way of jumping between them, because I've noticed how a lot of challenger banks, right, they'll jump in between accounts. It's been really, really good. So nice one. No, it sounds good. And they're across the UK. Are they still going on their Free Agent MTD Roadshow? Is that still?
I believe so. I believe there's still a few left. I'm not sure how many, because I know that there were some last week.
And
but
did you see?
I'm pretty sure that they're still going with some of the roadshows. Yeah.
Amazing. And did you see their cute little? They teased it at Cantex Manchester. They had this little beanie. Have you got him? Have you got him?
Got one.
Oh, as soon as I saw that, I was like,
it's so cool. It's got a cute. I haven't tried it out yet, but the people were doing it. That it's got you can scan it with your phone. It's got a QR code inside it, which takes you to the MTD part of the website. All the information on MTD. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Oh. If anything, that's a reason to get down to. I hope there's still some out there, and hopefully there's.
I love a little plushie on my desk.
Amy, where they're still going.
We've got some partner roadshows in what's the day today? Oh, they're in London tomorrow. They are in Edinburgh on the following Thursday, and Bristol on the following Thursday, the 23rd. So London tomorrow.
How are they in both places? How's that?
I don't know.
I think they've got different people doing it. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, I think that's an absolute must, though. If anyone can just I mean, just for the cute little what they got a name for, hasn't they?
Plushie. I think they're called a plushie or a.
I think there's a name for that character. They've got. If you go back to the Ask the Accountants grid walk for Accountex Manchester, they tell us what it's called on that grid walk.
Oh, okay.
So a must have. I think that's one of the for 2025 that may win swag of the year.
I have to have one. I need to figure this out. I can't be
free agent listening. You know, we
down to London tomorrow.
We do like to promote.
Yeah, I'll be going to London. Hi, can I? I know we're doing everything okay. Susanna's told me, but can I have one of the buses? I want to know what it's called now, so I'm having a look. And if anyone from Free Agent is listening right now,
are we classing as a bus? Or are we classing as to me it looks like a camper van.
I think it's a little camper van.
Yeah, I thought it was a camper van.
It's a little camper van, yeah.
Oh, is it a camper van? It's even better. Vinny.
Yeah, I've got a mug with one as well. Vinny.
Yeah. And Claire's confirmed he's a camper.
Yeah, he's a camper
van. And where is Kirsty Mitchell when you need her? Exactly. And confirmation I have a landlord with a metal account.
Yes,
excellent. Working through. Excellent. All right, awesome. Okay, next bit of news. ClearBooks, not on our radar at all for MTD, but we should have had them on our radar. Maybe we need to get them on next season for talking to us about their software solutions. But breaking news: ClearBooks is the first. They've capitalized this as well. First free software for MTD for income tax to be HMRC recognized for all income sources, and then they even provide a nice little listing and go through from there. And he says only bridging software is missing. Should we build that too? Is the end question mark that's there. But no, I mean, you look on the ClearBooks free on the HMRC's site, and they literally have every quarterly updates, tax return, agent software, individual software, standard update report, calendar update. Oh, standard update and calendar update. They're the phrases we were.
Yeah.
And they just keep going. They're doing capital gains, charitable giving, student loans. They've got all of this stuff in there, including CIS as well. So this is very interesting. I'll be completely honest. ClearBooks for me was 5 years ago. I last looked at it, maybe longer. Maybe it was that sort of thing. Time just kind of flows away from me at the moment, doesn't it? But anyone thought about ClearBooks? Use ClearBooks? Go for it.
I have just signed up for it, and I'm having a look at it now. Has the option for invoice creation and email. It's recording your income and expenses. So I don't think it has a purchase invoice matching facility. That looks like that's in the paid one.
Will it have journals and stuff? Or is
it doesn't have journals.
No.
Not recurring. So
looks like no.
If it's a link, it's a bank feed and the ability to create an invoice. So in my head, going into QuickBooks land, people, a bit like self-employed, where you had the bank feed and the ability to do the invoice.
Self-employed.
No, the old one.
Old
one. Yeah, because you can do more with sole trader now, can't you?
Okay.
Well, that's another day. But in my head, that's what I'm comparing it to. No transaction limits. That's good.
Okay,
no transaction limits.
That's very good, isn't it? Yeah.
And you can upgrade it and move through the channels. So it's definitely something I've signed up. I'm going to have a little play with it. So when we come back next series, we can delve a little bit more, because I'm finding as the year goes on, some of my clients are looking at things themselves, and they should be knowledgeable themselves. And when you hear free, and especially if they don't have that metal NatWest link, they want to use a different bank, and now this is free. So we need to be aware of what's out there.
It's good that they're looking at it. It's good that they're engaged and thinking about it and not just burying their heads.
Well, not everyone, but some.
Well, I think that helps us for season 2 of Watch the watch series, right? Because I'm thinking we should be looking at these more obscure ones. We've done the mainstream ones, we've looked at them, we've given them a fair shot. But like Kirsty St. John says here,
line books.
Yeah, I've never looked at line books, but I have heard of them.
Yeah, Derby based as well. So they're
oh, right, okay.
I might be able to go to their offices and we could do it live from there.
Yes.
So it's line books, KPM. We've got clear books. We
Coconut.
Coconut, great
Coconut,
shout.
know me. Yeah.
And let us know, people. Is there anything else that we're missing? Is there anything else that you're looking to bring? Vinyl, not vinyl. Vinyl's the what you call it?
Know me.
But Nomi definitely have one, don't they? But I'm thinking of the briefcase have put an MTD solution together.
Yes. Is that ready now?
The one we want to be looking at, right? And we never did look at Zoho. Did they have MTD? Well, that's a great question there, Kirsty. That's definitely one we should put on our list to have a look at. But yeah, I think season 2, I think we should be looking at the more obscure ones, seeing what options are out there and trying to.
Yeah, because even if they're ones we're not going to necessarily choose, if we have clients who've already signed up, like Amy was saying,
isn't it?
Then you don't want to have to.
Oh, I'm not saying they signed up for MTD.
No,
if they've not done the process. That's a later on, but actually looking to see what is free opposed to. And I think sometimes where there are a lot of choices of different, you can have this one or this one or this one or this one. Some people are like, I'll just go with the free one.
Yeah,
because also they might not need us for the MTD quarterly submission. That's absolutely fine. But they might need us, and they're probably going to be looking for us as always to help do their SA 100, right, or whatever we're calling it now, as a MTD special.
MTD tax return.
Yeah, if we don't have that, inkling of what that software can at least do, so maybe none of these software have client access, for example. We need to know that, don't we? So we need to be able to prepare our system. Go for this. Season 2 got something to tell us. Great point there. This is our final episode for this current season. So episode 12, we just thought it'd be a nice place to call it quits there. But we are definitely back. We've already got a date in mind for return. We're only looking for like a 2 to 3 week hiatus. Don't worry about that. But we just wanted to make sure that we weren't just rabbling on. We wanted to make sure we had some strategic.
What are you talking about? Talk for yourself. I don't rabble.
So yeah, give us a couple of weeks to go into the kitchen, and we're going to start cooking in the kitchen for you all. And we'll come back out of the kitchen with something great as season 2. Speaking of cooking in the kitchen and go for it. Oh no, before we move on to there, before I go in my segue, the only bit that I saw, and it's a fair comment that I saw on this post, was I won't say who said this because it's not fair on them, but one did say, and quite a prominent person in our industry said, super news, but ... How can you afford it to be free, was the question thrown to them. And I think that's definitely something that we have as accountants, we've got to be careful of, right? I don't know if you guys have been burnt before, but there was I want to say Wave, but it's not Wave, is it? That's no, it's Wave Accounting. Yeah, it was Wave from Australia. I don't know if you guys ever came across that, but that was a free piece of accounting software. I'm talking almost 10 years ago now. Then I was playing around with it. Free piece of software. So some of my clients I was bringing on at the time were like, I've been using this software called Wave. It's really, really good, blah, blah, blah. But what was the downfall for them was when open banking came along and they couldn't tick the right boxes to be open banking compliant. So maybe we should never have been using that software. But I know ClearBooks are definitely open banking compliant, etc., aren't they? So, but I think it's a really good question to ask, like, what is their model? How are they going to make this work if they're only offering a freemium version? So I just thought that was a good thing to kind of put into the pot as a question to be asking, isn't it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So going on to cooking in the kitchen, as I said before, another bit of MTD news, and this is a really, really interesting bit of news. Monzo and Sage have got together, and basically, if you're using a Monzo bank, you now have the ability in product to be MTD compliant and everything else using the Sage solution that they've got. And Sage have done this before, and I'm struggling to remember. Was it Tide they were with? Have I got that right?
I remember.
if anyone can let me know in there if it was, but I know they've already had this offering before with another bank, but now Monzo's jumped on as well. And if you look at if anyone's got clients on Monzo, I mean, I personally have one of our businesses on Monzo just so I can kind of use the UI and stuff like that. Monzo really cleverly kind of put together this subscription model where for you to be able to use all the features within the bank, you have to pay a particular subscription to unlock charges, basically. And one of those bank charges, or one of those subscriptions, was allowing you to actually connect QuickBooks Zero, Sage, and all that to it. And I imagine that going forward, there'll be a subscription model to unlock this functionality to go in from there. As my voice is going, what's everyone's thoughts on this one? Who wants to go first? Amy, yours.
I mean, I don't mind the subscription model so much. If it's as, you know, if Sage is what you want and you enjoy Monzo, you're gonna pay for it to do it. And I think we're so used to getting things for nothing now, aren't we? We're like, right, well, is it going to be free? Is it going to be free? And we're doing that for our clients because obviously our clients are going, I don't want to do any of this, and now I've got to pay for it. All right, and we'll go into pricing. But I think particularly for clients that want to stay with Monzo, and I do have clients that are, no, I don't want to get a metal. I'm happy with Monzo. This would be a good way. Clients just, I'm finding a lot of my sole traders just don't want to have the two apps, just want to have the one app. So if it's at that point, excuse me, I don't really massively know the Monzo app that much, but if we're at the point like we are with Metal, where you can categorize everything through it, winning. I think people will be willing to pay because they will see the benefit of saving time in having to go and do it in another app. So yeah, all positive. I think you're either paying for the bank account potentially or paying for the subscription to the accounting software, the bookkeeping software. Like it's not
and full clarification, we don't 100% know if there is a charge for it or not. That's me doing tinfoil hat moment there in an assumption, but I'm only basing that assumption based on literally if I log into Monzo now, I'm presented with these subscription options, and you know, my assumption is that would fit quite nicely into. Well, I've already got a bank account, I pay the subscription, and I access it. Now, what I love about this idea is that we've seen these bank accounts trying themselves, right, to create their own software. I don't know if you've ever played around with those softwares before, but the problem they have is because they're just building it from scratch, right? They're missing features, and the biggest feature we always had when we were trying to help clients was account and access.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask.
Yeah, they were putting all this data into this banking app and this bookkeeping app within their banking solution. And in the client's mind, they're like, right, I'm on top of it. I'm being compliant here. I'm doing everything there. And we were unfortunately at the end of the year going, well, I can't get access to that data. You can give me this really workaroundy way where you can add me to the bank, but I don't feel comfortable about that. Like, unfortunately, we're just going to have to just create the accounts from scratch. And that's unfortunate from a client's point of view, right? They've spent the time, they've put all this information. The amount of clients I don't know that you've got where they'll take photos on their app of the bank because the bank's encouraging them to do that, and we don't get access to it, right?
We don't.
And that's so frustrating from the client's point of view. I'm hoping, again, tinfoil hat moment, I don't know if this is right or wrong. My hope for this is because it's built by Sage, that from a Sage point of view, as an accountant, you can get access to it from your Sage for Accountants area. And if that's the case, this is an absolute brilliant idea, isn't it? Because the client doesn't need to.
I think they said something in the press release or the email that went out. I think I remember reading something that said how, which I liked, was how Sage was saying this is not about us. We are still trying to encourage people to have a bookkeeper and accountant and not cut us out. But they were still, I think so from that, I would hope that means we would still have access.
Yeah, definitely. And I wonder if, and again, tinfoil hat moment, hopefully this is the thing, but I wonder if that client, if they want to, can then start upgrading to different Sage products, right? Like, is it part of the family that they can go, right, well, I've done everything I need, but I've become VAT registered now, right? For example, and they then, press a button and that data gets converted in. That's what would be really cool.
That would make sense from Sage's point of view, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It's sticky, doesn't it? You've kind of you let them in, you know, and then they kind of grow with you from there. So yeah. What's people saying? Johan says cooking the books. We're talking about clear book. So yeah, it's definitely a question we've got to be asking. And then Claire Kendall says metal photos feed straight into free agent attached.
It's really good.
One of the major benefits, right? Like because it's such a deep integration. They talked on it.
I mean, I would have thought that if your client's doing it through their Monzo app, and obviously I think they can file to HMRC through the Monzo app as well. I'm hoping there'll just be then a copy on a Sage account. But I was thinking about when you were talking about accountant access, I have a client that's on Anna, and this was about a year ago, and I hadn't heard of it. And I got invited as an accountant to see everything, and it does VAT returns and everything like that. So maybe we will get a Monzo invite as a view only.
Yeah, that could be good, right? I mean, I know some of the bank accounts have tried to do like client access and accountant access before, but it always felt like it was, and rightly so, like there's got to be so much thing because, you know, as accountants and bookkeepers, we want access for our whole team, and there's always struggles with that, isn't there? And trying to figure it out. So it's never. I don't think anyone's found a streamlined process yet. But if and again, pinfall hat moment, maybe this can't even be possible. But if Sage has been able to build this and it's based on their architecture, I'm really hoping that we could just kind of have that Sage for accountants area, and it can kind of look at that data. And have everyone's a winner. Client doesn't need to leave the app. They're going to be happy. They're going to do it for. And to your point, Amy, about like categorization and stuff like that, that's what Monzo and all the new Challenger maps are really good at, right? Like you can't even make a payment these days without categorizing it there and there. and as you know, as a user, sometimes that's really frustrating, right? I just want to make this one payment, but I think you know, we're teaching our clients to do good habits, aren't we? We're making them kind of do it as they go along, you know, prompting them to take photos, doing all that sort of stuff is the right thing, you know. And I really think that, you know, this is a great move for both Monzo and Sage here. I think it's kind of it's to me, I feel like Metal and Free Agent have made such a splash, and NatWest and everything else. I feel like there's a catch up going on, and this is part of that catch up period. Everyone else to kind of see what we want to be involved in that.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on in 6 months.
But I would highly recommend, if you've got the opportunity, to go get yourself a Monzo account and go get, because that's one thing I'm really looking at the moment. I've got multiple businesses in multiple different, and each one of them are now on a different bank account, and I get to see each of the different apps. Yeah, you know, because clients are asking you questions all the time. How do I get this bank statement? Oh, okay, just follow this, and this.
Yeah,
it's so much easier to have access to this and that. So yeah,
I think I've got a Monzo, a Tide, a Metal. I don't have a Starling.
I've got Starling. And
Starling's great. I've got Starling.
Yeah,
they're the main ones, aren't they? I can't think of any others, but yeah, I've got all of them.
Brilliant. Okay, awesome. So I think we'll hopefully get more news on it in season 2 and everything else. And kind of my aim is, I've tried to sign up on there because there's a little sign up thing from there because I've got a Monzo account. Try to sign up there, but I don't have a sole trader. It's a limited company, so I don't know if I'll be blocked or something. I mean, if I was Monzo, I'd block me because I'm not supposed to go in there. It says Kirsty St. John. Update QB MTD submissions now, so shows a submitted date. Excellent. We got there. Power to the people, like that. That's very good. So thanks for putting the feedback in there, Kirsty, because it's obviously worked. Johan says Starling and great until they debank you without any notice. Yeah, we've
that's a worry.
Yeah, we had a whole thing of trying to catch up with AML and all this and the other, didn't they? So yeah, I mean they were one who tried to build their own accounting solution, so I wouldn't be surprised if news comes from them at some point of how that's going. Awesome. All right, cool. Let's move on then to our topic of the week. And it's all about pricing. So, who wants to go first on how they have tackled their pricing? And if you've got any questions in the chat, put the questions in now. But Suzannah, go on. You go first. What's been your approach to pricing?
So, I started really, really, really early. The ICB did so much pushing about how MTD for income tax was going to be such a good opportunity for bookkeepers, rightly so, that we were talking about this when it was very first sort of announced, several years ago before it was postponed. So I had actually already sort of started the process with my larger sole trader clients back then, and had I started by moving those large sole trader clients onto monthly bookkeeping with with the message that MTD was coming and that we had to start preparing for this and start getting them into the habits of more regular bookkeeping from me, but then they need to sort of give me the information in order to do that. And that, I think, is when we talk about, the cost and everything, I think that is probably where the biggest increase of cost sort of falls in that area. So I started doing that, and I have continued doing that with my so now I think it's only really new clients that are not on software and are not on monthly bookkeeping, ones that I've literally taken on in the last sort of 6 months, and they know that it's coming because it's one of the first things that I have the conversation with about now when we're signing them up. So software, monthly bookkeeping, and then that way you are separating that sort of that portion of the price increase. You're spreading it out. You're not having to do everything in one go, and it's a huge increase. You're starting gradually, and the fact that it's monthly bookkeeping and you're moving them to monthly billing alongside of that, yes, there's a price increase, but it's not quite as painful because it's a monthly thing, and you can kind of say to them at the same time, you're paying it as you go along, so that when we do your tax return and we present you with your tax bill, which you've got to find the money for, particularly if that's close to the payment deadline, and then you're going to get my bill as well, you're not going to have that anymore. It's only going to be the tax bill. And because we're doing the monthly bookkeeping, we can get that bill to you, so you know what you're going to have to pay much earlier, and you've got time to save for it. So selling that value, that the change is actually helping them, has really, really helped. I haven't had pushback at all with that. So that's the first thing, I think, and that is probably the hardest and most time consuming thing. So I would say to people, if you haven't started doing that yet, try and start at least having those conversations sooner rather than later. The difficulty in that process that I think sort of stumps a lot of people with how to deal with it is that if you're moving them, say you're moving them onto the monthly bookkeeping from, I don't know, say you started doing it from April 25, they haven't paid for their 24-25 tax return yet, and that kind of throws things a bit. But I just explained it all, put it all in writing, explained it in person a few times as well, and again they seem to no one's pushed back on it. They understood and just keep selling the message. This is the last time you're going to have a big tax return one-off bill from me, because by the time we get to it next year, you will have already paid it. And it worked really well. So that, I think, that's the bulk of it. And then the next sort of price increase I will be handling in sort of between January, end of January and beginning of April. I will be saying to them, right, as you know, MTD is about to start and there's going to be a filing fee. That will be the next thing. But again, I'm going to add that. I'm going to sort of add it to their monthly bill, split it out. So one filing fee and then divided across the year. Again, not too painful. And because they've already had that increase already for the monthly bookkeeping, it's not going to be a huge increase. But I think it's important to charge for that filing as well, because while a lot of people say, well, the bulk of the work for us will be in getting the monthly bookkeeping, getting everything up to date on time. That filing is still a responsibility. It's still a deadline that we've got to manage, that we've got to remember about. And the work that has gone into this whole process, you know, we haven't had to charge for the research. We've had to do all of the, you know, working out what the best software for them is, all of that. So the filing fee, I think, is important. And I was thinking the other day, if we didn't charge for that filing fee, if we missed a filing and the client got fined, they'd still want us to pay the fine. If we haven't charged for that in the first place, do you know it? You know, and at the end of the day, it's a service that they don't want to do themselves. If they're not doing it themselves, then they need to pay for it. It doesn't have to be a lot, but you have to put a value on it. Otherwise, they don't value it.
Definitely, definitely. And I think, I don't know about your practice management solutions, but for ours, having that separately on the thing as well is how it keeps it easy to work with, right? Like having those different service lines is how we are able to deliver our services. So if we don't have a separate service line, it's going to be really difficult for us to track it, right?
And I just think I think that clients will expect to pay for it. I don't think it's going to occur to them that we're going to do it for free, because why would we? It's only in this profession, accountants and bookkeepers, that we feel that we have to do things for free all the time. And that's not a service. It's something that has been mandated by HMRC. We haven't chosen for this to happen. It's not, you know, it doesn't make our lives any easier. And that extra filing, you know, there's still going to be checks and chasing and stuff that goes into that. And the responsibility, it is chargeable.
Definitely. So, Amy, over to you. I mean, yours is a much different type of client as well. You've got a much bigger type of client base, right? As in different types you've got to work with. So how?
A little bit of a story. Started off the year like Suzannah, right? Emailed everyone. I'm like, right, we're going to invoice everyone's 24-25 before the end of August. No, we're in the middle of October. And then we will talk to everyone in September to get everyone onto monthly billing to pay for their 25-26 tax return. And then obviously then we'll be falling into monthly billing. That hasn't happened that way because some of the people that are being mandated, I still don't have 24-25. But I know they're going to be mandated from their 23-24.
But you could still do the monthly billing now, even if they've not paid for.
Agreed. But it's not worked out that way.
No, it's difficult. It's easier.
It's just a case of I'm dealing with a lot of subcontractors, and they are used to refunds each year, and they don't all have refunds. We know all the reasons why on their income and blah blah blah. But I have been historically collected my fees after they've got their refunds. Now, I might be at fault for that, but I know a lot of other accountants and bookkeepers listening have probably done exactly the same thing. Like, oh, you feel bad having to ask them, you wait until you get your money. This year I've been stung a little bit, and I'm like, no, you're going to pay me in advance of receiving the money. But to tackle those ones has been a little bit harder, because now I'm like, right, you've got to pay me in advance of the year end of the tax return that we're going to do. And then you're going to have to go on monthly. And I am having that conversations, and they are understanding what they've got to do. Obviously, they don't want to do it. And why do I have to do it? Does that mean I get the money back quarterly? No, it doesn't. So they're having to pay me.
I tied it into.
And then, so those ones are a little bit more challenging. I obviously have a few sole traders that are already paying me monthly to do their bookkeeping. So they're the easier ones. They're on monthly billing. I'm going to add in £15-20. I'm still in the £15-20 region a month to do their submissions, because their submissions are not just press of the button. In my eyes, I need to review it and check that it's all right and do their bank recs.
Oh, so those are the ones that you're not doing the bookkeeping for. Yes. Sorry, when I was talking, I was assuming I'm doing the bookkeeping for. I was on that process. So it is a different.
The majority of mine are end of year. I'm not doing bookkeeping for them.
Yes, so that's why it's harder for you, I think, because I can tie mine in with.
But I think Aaron's the same.
You're paying for it as you go along because I'm doing it.
Yeah, a lot of us are in that boat that we're doing SA100s at the end of the year, and they're sending it to us. I'll get some receipts, but mostly on Excel at the moment. Yeah, there are some that are on software themselves, but not many. The ones that are on software tend to be the ones that I'm doing the bookkeeping for, so are used to that fee. So they're the easy ones. Getting the people we've spoken about, how I've struggled to get people to get their own business bank accounts to start with, and then get them to, right, and now you've got to actually do bookkeeping, because I'm not pushing that as a service for me too much. I will do it, but I know it's going to be more expensive for them.
That's not where you're,
and I don't necessarily have the capacity in my staffing to absorb that.
But you're going to be doing their quarterly filings, you're saying?
Yeah. So
I have got a few like that. And what I've done there, I should have said this before, I was rambling. I have introduced a quarterly checking service where they're doing the bookkeeping. They pay for that quarterly checking service monthly, but it's a quarterly fee, and we divide it by 3 months, so and 12 months across the year. So that's how I've dealt with those ones. And then they've got the option, if they're not doing it in time now, I'm on their case and saying, well, this time next year you would have had to have filed that, and you would have missed that because you've not done anything. And they've got the option, then they've already got a price for me doing the bookkeeping, and them upgrading it to that, which isn't a lot more, because I'm charging. It's taken me quite a long time to do the quarterly checks, and I would actually prefer to do the bookkeeping myself. So that might be why I'm different to you.
I think this is where we're going to have a difference of listeners in that, where you've got a smaller volume. You do more for your clients, but you've got a smaller volume.
Yeah, exactly.
By the time, I think I'm at about 120, and Aaron's going to have way more than me. People, they're not all going to be mandated this time, but looking at the client base, because we were talking about segmenting from the start. I know there's 20 that are coming in April, and I'm about half, some on software and not on software. But actually looking at my capacity, I don't think anyone is going to be recruiting someone just to do these MTDs, right? I don't think I know anyone that's doing that. So we have to look at our own capacity and actually thinking about, do I have capacity to do everyone's bookkeeping? No. Am I going to do it based on how I do price my bookkeeping for my limited companies? I think I'm going to have to, which is transaction. Until I get them on software, transaction volume, I'm not going to know. So it's all going to be that pricing of doing the bookkeeping is still up in the air, because we have to do a bit to know how much it should be per month. And then the client might be like, well, I don't want to be paying you £100 a month, because all of my, I haven't got a business bank account, and I'm putting all my Uber Eats or Deliveroo, whoever else is available, through there. So I'm kind of edging away offering the bookkeeping. It will be there, but it's not something that I'm necessarily going to promote. The quarterly review and the checks, like I do with
this is VAT why it's interesting, because our practices are different.
Yeah, like I do with VAT returns, going to be more so like a shared responsibility. So where my clients have gone down the metal free agent route, or have got their other banking and we're QuickBooksing, that's predominantly where I'm sitting at the moment. I'm giving them the instructions on how to do it. Actually, Aaron, I have shared some of your YouTube videos on how to do these things, because I'm encouraging them to do it themselves, and then I will go in and review and do like a VAT error checker, like I do with VAT returns with them. And at that point, it's going to be a monthly fee of the SA 100, even though from what Aaron was saying, I don't know if there's going to be a different word, SA 100 and the monthly submissions. And I'm kind of putting it at £20 a month for doing the review and the pressing the button. So 60 quid a quarter. And then my tax returns, my tax returns start at 350 at the moment. I am going through and looking at them, because I've not tiered it historically based on number of properties, all that kind of stuff, but I'm going to have to come up with that separate. And then it will be a monthly fee from April. Now this catch up for 25-26, I'm going to have to talk to clients on a client by client basis, because I've done some 24-25s and they're done, and I think that'd be easy. where I haven't done some 24/25s and I'm still chasing them for it, they're going to have 50 quid upwards a month for real time. And then they're going to have £350 to pay on, you know, for 25/26. And they're going to be getting refunds from HMRC whenever they want it. So there is a lot to think about. I definitely think we all need to go down the monthly monthly billing route, because it's just you're going to have spend so much time paying all your staff to do all this stuff, and then collecting it right at the end. And are people going to collect it at the time they do the tax return, which would be the following year? So definitely the monthly billing route, and I think it'll be easier to explain to people from April the monthly billing route. Yes, you're going to have to consider the catch-up fee, and I am still considering. I'll quite happily share what I'm doing with clients in terms of their catch-up fees when I get there. But yeah, because there's a mix of clients.
You're so right, because one solution doesn't fit all practices, but also doesn't fit all clients within that practice. So yeah, this is why it's good, because we can discuss our ideas and nick bits of each other.
Come on, you probably got the most out of all of us. What are you doing?
So I think one thing to remember at the very beginning of all this is, and I imagine most people listen to this are going to anyway, but we're looking to acquire a practice at the moment, and one of the questions we're asking is that practice even going to touch MTD? Like that's a question you've got to ask yourself as a practice owner. Are you even interested in providing an MTD service? And I know there's kind of even to that question, some are saying, I'll look after the current clients I've got, and I'll make sure, because we've got good relationships with them, like Suzannah there, like for I think, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but it feels like for the vast majority of your clients, they're happy to kind of continue working with you, and you've got a good relationship with them. Yes, there might be a little bit of extra fee to be compliant here, but it's kind of systems as it was, right? And I think a lot of
they're relieved that they've got someone who's going, don't worry,
we've got this
I will
sorted.
tell you exactly what you need to do, and I will do all the rest. And it's you're not going to really. Most of my ones that will be mandated in April aren't even going to notice any change, really.
Yeah. Maybe a slight increased fee, like you said, because we should be charging for that submission. But you know, based on what you're already doing for them, it'll probably be absorbed in it and everything else. And I think a lot of practices are going to have that, where maybe if their existing client base, that the ones that are working well with, let's offer that solution. I remember when I first came off the alpha, and I was like, right, for Bofix, we are doing one solution for them, and that's it. It's an all or nothing. We file it, we do their accounts, we do their bookkeeping, we do their tax return, and that's it. That's because I came off that alpha being quite bullish about it, thinking, we've got this is fine. Then you talk to your client base and go, actually no, there's no way that some of those clients are going to be able to absorb that fee, right? Like they're just not going to be able to work with you on that. So as Amy's saying there, we've had to come to 3 different solutions for our clients. There's one where we're doing it all for them, and they're the ones that hopefully we get to encourage the most to come over to. Then we've got second one where they're going to ask us to review, and then we're going to submit on their behalf. So they're going to do the bookkeeping. They want us to do a check and submit on their behalf. And then the final ones, and these are the ones I'm most worried about, is the ones where they're going to be doing it, they're going to be filing it, but we're going to be doing the end of year, and that's going to be a really.
I've got none like that, thankfully, but that is a tricky one, isn't it? But that, I suppose.
You can't say
I don't
no
know, really.
Right?
I suppose it's no different to the ones that do their VAT returns, and you do their year end, perhaps, if you have any like that. Again, I don't.
Yeah, we do.
But then I think that's because I'm a bookkeeper. People come to me because they don't want to do any of it. So that's the difference. Whereas your client base, you will have a real mixture. People who just want you for year end.
Yeah, because all they've ever used us before is that end of year account. Right, that's all they needed us for. We come in and do that there, and we're lucky though, because those clients, even though they're annual, they're still paying on a monthly fee, and there's still a monthly element to them. So we work with them, and the way we've kind of priced ours is we're saying the submission's an hour, and it won't be just for the submission, but it's like sending out the emails to remind them, getting them to think, all of that stuff.
This whole workflow,
we've put an hour on it. Hopefully that's not going to bite us when it comes live. But I'm imagining there's economies of scale, right? Like maybe that first quarter we get this completely wrong, but I think as you start working with your clients and everything else, I'm hoping we can get that magic 1 hour, and then that's what's kind of based our charge out with what our hourly charge out rate. That's what's kind of for the submission and going there. And one of the other things we've agreed with all our clients is that if we're doing that check-in service, then yes, we'll check it and we'll let you know what the problem is. And we're happy to do that the first time and give you kind of a bit of insight and everything else. But if you keep having the same problems time and time again, then we have a clause in our engagement letter that we will fix them at our normal bookkeeping rate.
I've got that the same, and I've also got, and if it continues to happen,
that's it.
We are going to be pushing you to pay that little bit more and have our bookkeeping service. So I'm going to use Xenon Connect as well to help speed up that checking process. And that the good thing about Xenon as well is you can then present them with their health score if they're doing the bookkeeping themselves and say, look, your health score's this, it's rubbish, and you've got all these errors. We've been through this once already, and then you've got that leverage as well to either charge for your time putting it right or to push them towards your bookkeeping service if that's what you want to offer.
I think the thing with that, because I'm thinking about the staff that are going to be doing this, and actually I've got a tax manager that does all my year-end tax returns, but obviously that is a higher rate than she won't do bookkeeping. No. So then I've got my bookkeepers, and if they're using Xenon as well, which I do feel like I need a checklist. Like I know I keep going back, like the QuickBooks VAT error check. Just if there's something similar to that, I'm winning. Shout out to QuickBooks if you want to put that together. I'm taking that. I don't know. So if there is something like that, or all across all of the softwares, winning, because that hour's going to be taken out quite quick, Aaron. So you're right in the first time, because they're not going to be doing it. And we're dealing with people that, well, from talking about my clients that I've got a business bank account that haven't been doing their bookkeeping. I have to explain what bookkeeping is because they're just used to sending me stuff at the end of the year and I put together their SA 100. Where it comes to the people that are doing it themselves and doing the submissions themselves, I'm always going to treat them, because we'll be year end, they'll just carry on as if they were the same as we've done in prior year. Obviously, I will look at the quarterly submissions that they've done, but I won't be taking them. I'll be doing my SA 100 and then obviously comparing or whatever on that front. I can just give them the tools to do it. And I know a lot of my clients will want to do that, or want to do it all themselves. So there is a little bit of a fear that they'll get it wrong. But in the same token, I'm engaged to do the tax return and I'm going to make sure that's right.
Question on that bit though, because this is the bit where ICAW pulled me up on, and HMRC actually got in contact with me on this when I
really?
It was back in the alpha days, right?
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm on the impression that their clients doing it all themselves, and we're going to come into it now. Typically, they could. What they would do is send you some records. You produce a set of accounts, and then complete the tax return there. From what we've kind of been told and what we can see, we're supposed to actually be amending their submission, their final submission, to be in line with what ours is going to be. So are you thinking there, journal it all out, journal it back in again, and that's effectively going to be that fourth quarter done and dusted? How are you going to work that round?
If they have been submitting incorrectly, I mean, adjustments that I've had to do, depreciation or whatever all those kind of bits, and they have software, I'll treat it like a limited company, a set of accounts, and I'll post it in to theirs. But if they're doing their quarterly bookkeeping, quarterly submissions, it's their responsibility.
So you're doing like almost an opening balance? Is that how you're going to do it?
This is what I'm thinking. I don't want to take responsibility for their fourth quarter if they don't want me to do the quarterly submissions as such.
But if we think about it as a P60 and we find a mistake in a P60, we can't just put what we want in. Do you know what I'm trying to say? In the tax return, we can't just go, oh, that should have been 20 grand, 200 grand, and they've only put 20 grand on their tax return, right? On their P60. We have to go back to the source documents. And I don't know the answer here because none of us have had to file the end of year yet. But everything I'm looking at, everything I'm reading at, everything I'm seeing is you've got, and the HMRC like came at me and thought of this when I was talking about it. It definitely wasn't a thumbs up. It was definitely they were insistent that that I went to base record because in their world I'd have gone back to that software they were using. But we all know the client could have chopped and changed software. They might not be into that software anymore. Like we could be doing this 9 months after the year end on 31st of January, right?
Yeah, and I'm thinking actually,
free agent was saying.
Sorry, I was just going to say, if we're thinking about using tax calc like I do, and I'm fetching the information from the submissions and I'm putting it in, and I'm like, oh, hang on, that's wrong. I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that. I don't have the ability to go back and change the fourth.
Free agent was saying what they were saying yesterday is you should be changing it in the fourth quarter, putting all your year-end adjustments, so things like the capital allowances, depreciation, all of that into the fourth quarter, which you can amend multiple times. So even if the client has filed that fourth quarter, you then do it there in the fourth quarter before you do your annual MTD return. Because even if you do your annual MTD return from the accounting software, certainly I think my understanding with what free agent was saying is it won't pull back, and if you do the adjustments in the annual return, which you can do, it won't then correct the year.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. My only concern is, so if we take on a client, we've gone off a little bit, sorry people, if we take on a client that is doing their own submissions, so during the year, I'm not signed up with them for MTD.
No,
I don't have to be signed up with them for MTD to submit their year end.
You do for their MTD, for their, and because it's an MTD tax return, it's a new tax return. It's not the SA 100.
Oh, okay. We'll just whack up the fee another tenner a month.
Yeah,
come on, people, because we might have to do that. By the sounds of it, we're going to have to revise it anyway.
But is it a tenner?
I mean,
this is the thing, right? Like, what is that price point? Because previously we've got a blank canvas, haven't we? And we just paint out wonderful pictures, and and I everyone in this community will paint a lovely picture of their end of year accounts for clients, but we're taking their canvas and we're trying to make it right. So
maybe you do an annual review, like an overall annual review at the point that you charge for, at the point when you're finalizing everything for the tax return. If you're not doing,
and this is why I wasn't done by the 31st of August. I've got the email up on my second screen next to me that says, please reply to confirm which option you would like to go with by 31 August 2025, because I've got the three options there, but actually I've not considered having to go back and revise the fourth quarter if they've been doing it themselves. So for example, I think this was done back in May. I'll give everyone an idea. I was like, if you're doing your own, I'm just doing the year end, it's 30 quid a month. So 360. This is what I'd said. Basic. I'm not talking everyone, but shared responsibility. You do all your bookkeeping. I just quickly review and submit, £50 a month. And then the fully managed is obviously on the volume. I'm now thinking I might need to be a little bit higher.
It's tough, isn't it? It really is. And yeah. I also,
this is why, I mean, for me, I'm looking at them on a standalone basis and putting those transaction volumes in, but I completely understand that is a much bigger job when you're a bigger practice with a lot more clients.
I think, Amy, you're in an advantage because I think TaxCalc's got a really nice process there. And I think ultimately you could submit that fourth quarter as a bridging solution. You could just overwrite everything they've done throughout the year, submit what it is, and then that's basically what's going to form basis of your return. So I feel like you've got software on your side there. And I know we're running out of time, but there's one final bit on software that I just want to get your opinion on. The bit I've been fighting for is that for these clients where they're doing it their own, at what point, is there a solution out there that I've already missed, or again, I've got to be careful about what I say, NDAs and all that lot. But surely, as accountants, if we're going to take on these clients who are doing it themselves, there should be an opportunity for us to put a checklist to them each quarter that they are agreeing that they're ticking. Is there reconcile things like that, right? Like, that's what we need to be able to work with these sort of clients. We need them to take responsibility to go, right, they want to do it themselves, and we can only do that end of year. Because that's my fear, that we're going to get to the end of the year and they haven't done all the quarterlies, or the quarterlies were so wrong, we've got to start, you know what I mean? We've got to protect ourselves. So is there a checklist? Like, Xenon's a great checklist for internal, but is there one that's external, or is there a checklist within software?
I do think now, I my ignorance, I didn't realize we had to go back and change the fourth quarter when we were doing the year end. So it's changed my mindset a bit.
I'm not sure if I explained that correctly. And my understanding was a bit vague as well, because obviously the fourth quarter deadline will be on the 7th of the month following the quarter end. June. So I don't know if you change it.
June, May,
you might not have done your year end then, thinking about it. So I'm not quite sure how that works. But you will have to change it somewhere in the software.
So just thinking of that, then
it's pulling that fourth quarter, right, to form the basis of your tax
mine will be pulling, if I'm thinking about doing my end of year, which I will be doing the morning tax calc, mine will be pulling from the various different softwares, all the bridging within tax calc, whatever I'm using, and then I've got to somehow get it back, which I know with tax calc accountants production it does. Nick will probably, if he's watching, will probably say whether it will or not at some point. But if I'm placing more reliance on those quarterly things, I want to be checking them. Because just thinking a conversation I had with a client, and they were like, oh, so I can do my quarterlies. I was like, well, yeah, you can do them yourself. She said, oh, I might get you to check a couple of quarters. And then once, you know.
And then they think you're going to do that for free.
And I get that to an extent, because we're talking about clients maybe getting it wrong when they're doing bookkeeping for the first time. So, you know, you can help people along the way, check a couple of quarters or whatnot. And then I step in at the year end and then realize that she's done 2 quarters wrong. And then I'm going to have to go back and do it potentially. And yes, I'm going to charge them a fee, but they're going to get annoyed that I'm charging them for a fee, because they're going to feel like they've already done it. So I can just see this getting. So maybe my mindset has changed a little bit because of that news, because I'm like, well, I think I need to get involved. I was thinking more of a case of people do their own. If you want to do your own, if you want to get me involved, cool. But I'm going to help you.
Think about it from HMRC's point of view, right? Like, at the moment, if we, and you know how it is, and it's right to be this way, but if you put a figure in that doesn't agree to that P60 and you're not able to bring that P60 in, straight away you get a inquiry or at least a letter to say that it's been amended, right? My gut feeling, and we've not seen this yet because no one's done the end of year properly, right? But my gut feeling is that why wouldn't HMRC bring this in, that if we post something that's completely different to what their fourth quarter is, surely that's room for them to have an inquiry. That's room for them to put a letter out. That's room for them to think. And in the ideal world, you want your submission, your fourth quarter, to pretty much be in line with what gets submitted on tax return, right?
And you know full well the client will come back to you and say, but I thought you were going to check the whole thing when you did the year end. You know, you're going to get that. And I know what you're saying about it being more work, and I agree. But my feeling is that's more manageable to check it quarterly than check everybody's for the whole year at year end. It's about spreading that workload.
I mean, if we're thinking about the year end, I mean, I'm still doing 24/25s now, and some will go right up to the end of January. So actually, the checking of whether the fourth quarter's right will still go on.
Oh, it will, but at least
the whole of the year. So it's the ability to be able to do the monthly bookkeeping and do everyone's quarterly checks whilst they're doing their own bookkeeping. That's where accountancy, or maybe bookkeeping practice as well, but definitely accountancy practice owners that I know that are just used to doing the year end and not doing the bookkeeping, we're like, whoa, where do we sit? So I don't blame people for not doing it. I'm hoping I'm helping some people with my pricing ideas. It's not 100% there, and clearly I've got to go back and revisit it. I'll share it on LinkedIn what I'm doing.
Well, Series 2 has to happen now, right?
Series 2.
We've left everyone on a cliffhanger here. Speaking of cliffhanger, Kirsty says, yep, if their name is against the 4th quarter and your name is the 5th, so that whole idea that client are filing and we're filing, this is a really good point by Claire, though. For some clients, I just do the bookkeeping and the accountant would do all the adjustments. I wouldn't change quarter 4.
And that I think is fine, because Claire would have in that. I've got one in that it's that same situation as well, where we will have supporting agent access to file the quarters and the client will be doing the year end. So from that point of view, and going back to what I was saying, the quarter 4 deadline will be a month and 7 days after the end of quarter 4. So there must be another way. I think it's just that you need to make sure that those adjustments are in the actual software and not just in the annual filing.
It could be 9 months later, though.
But it could be bridging, right?
I don't know how that might be, that you can still refile quarter 4 after the deadline again, even if it's, I don't know, even as long as you filed it by the deadline, when you do the year end, maybe you file it again with the final submission.
And a few more points on our year-end tax return checklist, Aaron, as well. So a checklist for the quarters and a checklist for the year-end to then go back and make sure.
And back to my point I brought on day 1 of doing this series, my most frustrating thing is we're putting a line in our client base, because there's still going to be older clients or traditional other clients, want a better word for it, that's going to need the traditional SA 100s to be done the way we've always done them.
They're still going to have those.
Okay.
Right, well, I've just added 20 quid a month to what I was just saying.
At least.
And losing clients.
I would often add the journal when the accountant sends it back. Exactly. But can we do that less way?
Does that need to be filed again? That's what I don't know if that has to be filed again as part of the quarter 4. It might not have to, but
I think we need the direct source. We need it from the horse's mouth, don't we?
We do.
And is there
any ideas what we can do about that?
First bit? Yes, there is. Join us on our YouTube channel, Ask the Accountant, and you will see all of our past ones. It's a bit weird on the YouTube channel. You have to go to the live bit. I've always kind of seen that one, but you go to the live tab and you can listen back to all of it. And that is it. That is our episode. We are definitely going to have to come back. Like I said, we're having a bit of a hiatus. We're going to have a couple of weeks off to recharge the idea batteries, get in the kitchen, start cooking along, like HMRC hopefully doing at the moment with their guidance on MTD for us. And speaking of HMRC, we're hoping to get them on the show as well. Wouldn't that be exciting? Wouldn't that be exciting as well? Thank you to you as well, Mahil, for coming along. Suzannah, hashtag MTD Queen. Talk us through what you would like to promote, push, all that sort of stuff, and go from there.
Okay, well, I think this would be a good time for me to promote the ICB and ICB bookkeepers, because just from what you were saying, there are going to be practices out there who don't want to get involved with the bookkeeping. So why not partner with an ICB bookkeeper potentially?
I love that.
There's lots of us out there, so something to think about.
I do like that. And
you don't necessarily have to do that through your practice. You can get the client to do it directly, but still work with us.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on. Didn't you guys as well in the new Lucas, this kind of new categories to try and help with that sort of stuff? There's like an AI category and all sorts. So yeah, ICB are definitely on it at this point in time. Hashtag Audit Amy. Tell us where people can find you. Plug and plug away.
I'm on LinkedIn. All other social media outlets available, apart from TikTok. Sorry, guys, I'm not there yet. I'm on other podcasts, Being Counted Boss and QuickBooks Labs, which we did a couple weeks ago. Come. Well, I'm taking a little bit of a break as well. You might not see me on LinkedIn for a little while as I catch up with work, but I will be coming back with a plan for Series 2. I will have a plan. I'm determined.
Amazing. Claire says, enjoy your time off, but hurry back. We need you. Don't you worry. This is not the last you'll be hearing for ourselves. Okay, says, thanks, peeps. Lively episode. More questions than answers. I think you guys, that's exactly what we've done. But hopefully enough questions to start making you think about it. Well said, Suzannah, says Mahul. Laura says, thanks. Peter Smith. Oh, hello, Peter. Thank you. Thanks. Really interesting. And Laura Gillespie. I apologize. Great shout, Suzannah. Okay. There we are. That was a very lively and exciting episode of Ask the Accountant Network Watch Series MTD. We will be back for Series 2, but we're going to have a structured approach to it. We're going to have a look at some other software. We're going to be talking to people. We're going to get to the bottom of these questions we've raised today. So keep an eye on socials, and we will see you then. It's a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Bye.